Bienvenidos a la sala.
Bienvenidos a otro capítulo de la sala.
We are on capítulo número 8.
Capítulo 8.
Yay! Dun, 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 dun,
Wait.
dun, dun.
Which one is it? This one?
Oh my.
No.
All right,
Okay,
there.
Again.
Babe, what is going on with you today?
Okay. I don't know. Necesito poner los nombres de qué y qué son.
It's the top one.
This one? Oh, yeah, it's this one. Okay.
Solo porque es Día de los Padres te la voy a dejar pasar, ¿ok?
Necesito ponerle los nombres, ven, si no me voy a estar equivocando cada
Yeah.
rato.
Welcome back to la sala. Mi nombre es Bianca Zúñiga y me pueden encontrar en Instagram under Bianca Zúñiga Official.
Mi nombre es Rudy Zúñiga y me pueden encontrar en Instagram como Rudy Zúñiga Oficial.
And go ahead and follow La Sala Official Podcast right now.
Síguenos.
Dun, 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 dun. Welcome back, you guys. Today is Father's Day.
Yeah, Feliz Día del Padre a todos.
Feliz Día del Padre
A todas las
todos.
mamás solteras y a todos los papás.
Happy Father's Day,
Yeah,
babe.
everyone. Thank you, babe.
It is Father's Day. Jaden is here with us. He stayed with us all week.
Yeah.
I don't know if my dad watches this or doesn't watch this, but happy Father's Day, Dad. I love you so much. Happy Father's Day to my grandpa. My grandpa, you know, I was thinking about it. I was like writing my caption for you guys, and it's crazy because like I had something really cute to say about you, right? And then I had something like really sweet to say about my dad. And when I got to my grandpa, I started to realize that like some of the most important life lessons that I have is because of my grandpa. Like,
Tu abuelo.
yeah, mi abuelo los ha enseñado, like, la importancia de la familia, financial security, how nunca darse por vencer, like, whatever obstacles go in your life, like, you can never give up on yourself. And that's a gift to have,
Yeah.
you guys.
Well, tienes planeado hacer un podcast con tu abuelo, ¿no?
Yeah, tengo planeado hacer un podcast con mi abuelo. But before I get to that, I also want to say Happy Father's Day to all my tíos out there. I love you guys so
Yeah.
much.
Feliz Día del Papá a todos los tíos de Bianca, a su abuelito, a mi suegro también.
Yeah, Feliz Día
Everyone.
del Padre a todos. Happy Father's Day to your dad. I don't know him, but
Yeah, I don't know him too, pero por ahí anda en Tijuana.
yeah, so Feliz Día de los Padres. But with that being said, yes, we do want to get a podcast together with my abuelo and my grandma. I just think that they have such a unique story, very inspiring, very impactful, and if it gets me like, oh my God, I want to hear more, I'm sure it's going to get you guys, our listeners, to want to listen to it. And more than anything, para que sepan que todo en la vida es posible viniendo de nada, like having absolutely nothing,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Les iba a contar poquito, pero me espero que su abuelo les cuente mejor de las palabras de él mismo.
tell us.
No, que
It's
el abuelo,
inspiring.
el
It's
abuelo,
inspiring.
el abuelo de ella ha batallado, ¿no? De chiquito.
Yeah.
So, con eso nomás les digo que estén atentos al podcast. No sé cuándo lo vaya a hacer Bianca, pero me imagino que va a ser pronto.
Primero Dios va a ser muy pronto. So, today's capítulo, it's going to be something very, 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 very different, very special. And it's crazy because it was Rudy's idea to talk about this. And we're going to talk about meningitis and when he got sick back in 2018.
Yo la otra vez le pregunté porque yo no me acuerdo de todo lo que pasó. I was like lost for like a couple of weeks, ¿sabes?
Couple months.
So le dije, vamos a hacer un capítulo donde like me cuentas todo lo que pasaste tú, que yo no me acuerdo. So,
He doesn't understand anything. He doesn't remember anything. And cuando le estaba contando, comencé a llorar because it was a really, really hard time in our lives. Por los que los han seguido de hace años ya, or like desde como cuando comenzó nuestra relación, you guys know that back in 2018, Rudy got really, really, really sick. And for those of you who don't know, meningitis is inflammation of the brain. How do you get it? I don't know. Like, I mean, they say because of a mosquito, but then they say it's a lot of stress. I feel like it could be a combination of both. The fact that he got it, it's just crazy. Like, never did I think we were going to go into the ER and not come out until 2 months later.
Yeah. Yo nomás me acuerdo que tenía un dolor de cabeza por unos 2-3 días, ¿no?
Yeah, y me estaba diciendo que el dolor de cabeza, like tú me estabas contando que se sentía como que si tu cabeza iba a explotar completely. So that, I mean, that's something's going on, you know?
Yeah.
We took him into the ER. We went to the ER and they sent us home. It was weird because you didn't have any really signs and symptoms. You just had a headache. So they sent him home. And then fuimos 3 días seguidos. Do you remember that?
Yeah, me acuerdo que sí lo regresaban a la casa and then we went back because creo todavía el dolor de cabeza lo tenía, like it wouldn't go away.
Yeah, so we go back. I can't give you guys the exact date. I know it was sometime in like September of 2018. It could be a little before that. But so we went back to the ER and they sent him home again. No, actually, this time the ER was super, super busy and you wanted to go home because ya no aguantabas la cabeza. You're like, I can't just sit here and wait for them to see me when, you know, it was going to take forever. So we ended up going home. And the next day we called your kidney doctor and Dr. Reddy was like, no, you need to go to the ER now.
And we went.
We went, and at this time, like, your fever was so high. It was, like, really, really high. No aguantaba el dolor de cabeza. They couldn't understand what was going on. All his blood work was coming back normal, except your white blood count. And if most of you know, that kind of shows that there's an infection somewhere. They don't know where, but there's an infection somewhere, you know? And, they gave him like IV fluids. They put him on Tylenol. They were just like letting him rest. But I was like, what the hell is going on? So at the ER, I mean, I don't think you remember after that, huh? Like,
no, yo me acuerdo que entré y no sé si, como que me acuerdo poquito que creo ya me iban a atender. We were like in the back room.
Yeah.
Y ya de ella, ya no me acuerdo.
So after that, they wanted to get, they asked us to do a test. And that's when they take a needle and get spinal fluid out of your spine. It's very painful. It can cause paralysis. Or I think that's how you say it. Yeah. Like you can be paralyzed. And I was like, is it necessary that we do that? And she's like, look, his signs and symptoms show present of meningitis. That's where we're leading it to. In order to figure it out, we have to do this. And I was like, holy fuck, like this is scary, you know? So I had to sign all the consent forms and I was like, yeah, let's do it. I mean, we have to do it. And the thing was so crazy because like, I guess they knew your brain was inflamado. They knew there was an infection there. They just didn't know how to cure it, it seemed. They gave him like a whole bunch of antibiotics, a whole bunch of antiviruses, like a whole bunch of medications because he was like normal one day. You walk into the hospital. I mean, yeah, you're in pain. You know, your head is hurting. And I think it was a matter of maybe 2 days being in the hospital, maybe 1 day, that Rudy woke up and he didn't know who he was anymore.
Yeah, cuando me estaba comentando, le dije, oh shit, like, no, yo no sabía eso porque sí te preguntaba, pero como que you didn't want to, like, really talk about it, huh? Yeah,
because, I mean, it's because it's really, really hard. And for everybody that has been through this, like, looking in, I knew I was going to cry. I knew I was going to cry. If you've been a spouse of someone who has gotten meningitis or you've been yourself with meningitis, this is so like, it just takes full control of your brain. Like you completely lose the person that you're with, you're with. It was a Friday night and I remember my tia was there and Rudy looked really upset. Like we were already in the hospital. They had already gave us like a room. And Rudy looked really, really mad. And she's like, is he mad like at you or what? And I was like, I don't think so. I mean, like, what would he be mad about, you know? You looked really, really upset. Well, that night he ended up going to sleep. And the next morning, like, when he woke up, he had no idea who I was. He had no idea. Like, I remember being like, good morning, babe. Like, how are you doing? How you feel? Like, and he's like, who are you? Where are you? Who are you? Where are we? Like, he didn't even know who he was. And that was so scary, you guys. Like, it was something that I just, honestly, like, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain, like, seeing the person you love there and not knowing. He was just so lost. And I called the nurses, like, immediately. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, he just woke up like this. Like, you just woke up like that.
Yo no me acuerdo nada de eso.
And you woke up and the nurses went in there. And they did a lot of exams, like, what day is it today? Do you remember your birthday? Do you know you're this? Do you know you're that? And I can't get into details because it was just so much that happened. But they were asking him, like, certain questions because it triggers certain part of your brain. And they wanted to see, you know, what part of the brain was affected by it. And les digo, like, we're so transparent with our relationship that you could just see, like, we don't have to tell you guys the kind of relationship that we have. You get me?
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like that when you go through something like that, it just makes you so solid, like, you know, together. I was so scared, you guys. I remember telling his work, like, I got his phone and I told his work, like, you know what, he's really sick. I have no idea what's going to happen out of this. And doctors come in every single morning and they're like, he could get better, he could not get better, it's going to take some time. Knowing that my husband could have not probably came back to being who he was, like, that completely scared me.
You're gonna make me cry.
And the reason why we're sharing this today is because he decided to pick this topic, okay? And it's Father's Day, and we want to show you guys that, like, not everything in life is beautiful. Life is beautiful, but we too go through stuff. There's certain stuff that we decide to share, and there's certain stuff that we don't share, but we're like everybody else. You know, I honestly feel like, yeah, it was a scary time in our life, and yeah, it was really, really hard. But this had to happen to us. Like, we both know and we're aware that this made our relationship so much stronger. You know, never before this, never did we have any issues like, and still to this day, we don't have any issues with infidelity or trust. Like, our communication is really good. But there were stress issues with money that led him to that, you know? We were living in a really expensive place. We were paying almost, you know, $3,000 just in rent, plus all of our bills, almost $5,000 to try to live there, you know? A month. And it was just him and I doing it. And it could be a lot on a person. And that was like our issues back then. It was never girls. It was never like, I don't trust him, he doesn't trust me. It was never none of that. And thank you, God, because it's not that, you know. And I have to make that very clear because I'm saying, like, I feel like this had to happen to us because we were able to say, you know what, like, we deserve to live in this apartment, but we don't deserve to be stressed out and unhappy.
Yeah.
Because el dinero te puede quitar de tu felicidad, you know? Cuando estás solamente trabajando para vivir, it takes away from your happiness. So, going back to that, to his experiences, it was just a lot. It was a lot. He lost he lost his memory completely. The only thing you would remember at that time, you were working, helping out at Casa del Villar, and he would just remember, like, about the mercancía that had to be ordered. Like, he would remember that he had to order jitomates and cebollas, and, like, you would remember el tío a lot, but because you were, like, with him a lot,
yeah,
you would,
Yo no, yo no pedía el jitomate ni nada de eso. Todo eso se encargaba el tío. I don't know why I was remembering que lo tenía que ordenar.
Pues que si ustedes no conocen a Rudy, Rudy is the type of guy que le gusta ayudar a todo el mundo. And ayer pude descubrir que los triunfadores, is that how you say it?
Triunfadores.
Ajá, así son. Like, you like to help other people out. Si tú tienes, tú vas a dar. And even if he doesn't have you guys, he still gives.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
And this is what led us to him being very sick. But, you know, as your wife, I could say that is the time that, like, I literally feel like I met God. And I was like this, like, face to face with him. And the only thing I would ask for, the only thing I would ask for is, like, please don't take him away from me. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen. And I remember having my mom there, and I was like, Mom, like, what's going to happen? I don't want him to die. Like, it's unfair, like, for him to go like this. You know, he got so sick, you guys. He got so sick that it was just so scary to watch. And nunca perdiste el respeto. Like, you know, going to the restroom, like, you were still shy. Like, you were still like, I could do it on my own. You couldn't walk. You couldn't walk. You couldn't write. Like, the only thing he lifted up his hand was, like, up to here. Like, you couldn't write. And if I could go back to, like, remembering how you were, like, I could just picture, like, a little boy being scared.
Después de que pasó todo esto, Jeritas me dijo que fue, ¿no? Jeritas y Andrew.
Yeah.
Y Jeritas me dijo que yo le apunté el dedo. Le apunté el dedo yo. Y él dijo, no, este güey ya se siente bien. Pero yo no me acuerdo nada de eso.
Yeah. Estoy súper agradecida con Dios, con todos, con mi familia. Gracias a ustedes que los han seguido por mucho tiempo, you know. Gracias por todas las oraciones que agarramos. Gracias por todos los lindos mensajes que estaban mandando a su teléfono, a mi teléfono. De verdad que todas las oraciones que mandaron para ti, like, se sintieron, you know. There was a lot of confusion between and this, you know, this is a past, you know, but there was a lot of confusion between, like, your family and my family. I mean, not my family, but myself, and doing what's right for you. And as a wife, you have that responsibility. You don't say, like, oh, I'm going to take full charge of his medical records and do whatever I think, you know, I have to do. Like, when they have to tell you, like, you might have to put him in an induced coma, that's scary. And as your wife right there, like, the only thing I thought about was your health, your benefit. I completely stopped working, you guys. I lived with him in the hospital. I showered at the hospital. I stayed at the hospital day and night. I ate at the hospital. Thank you to everybody that would go visit us, you know. Sus amigos wanted to go see him. And a little part of me was like, should we let him? Should I not? You know, because Rudy didn't know who he was. Rudy didn't know anything. And to everybody que trabaja con él y que fue, de verdad que muchas gracias, because he needed that. Although you don't remember, at that time, you needed to be surrounded by people you knew.
Yo no me acuerdo, nomás puedo decir que no me acuerdo nada, pero ¿cuánto tiempo duramos ahí?
So, in UCI duramos un mes. Una noche te tuvieron que poner muchos alambres all over your body, and it was just sad. It was scary. Excuse me. Because we thought you were having, like, seizures or convulsions in your brain, like brain activity. And you guys really wanted to, like, rip everything out and just run and leave. And it's hard, babe. It's really hard. It's, you know, de verdad que tienes que encomendarte a Dios and just say, like, God, like, only you know why we're going through this. Only you know, like, what's the outcome. And solamente tú lo puedes sanar.
Yeah.
You know, hay mucha gente que de verdad que no cree en el poder de Dios o de los milagros. And I just, if you woke up today and you could hear like birds singing, if you could breathe, I mean,
that's a blessing.
That's a huge blessing. Thank you, God, for giving me another day of life, you know? And that's the only thing I would pray for. Like, I didn't care if Rudy would have to stay the way he did. Like, I knew that I was going to stick by his side regardless, you know? That didn't scare me. What scared me was, like, you actually passing away and dying.
That is scary.
That's what scared me. And many times the doctors send me home, like they wanted to send me home, but I wouldn't go. Like, I would just stay in the little hallway in the waiting room. I would go to the car and come back. At no point did we leave him alone. You know, he was always with someone. His brother Rika was a lot of help, you know. Thank you so much to like my family for being there, not only like emotionally and supporting me there physically, but financially we had a lot of help from my family, you know. We completely just stopped everything that we were doing and take care of you.
Yeah. Pues esto fue un poquito de lo que queríamos, o más bien yo quería platicar de esto porque
quería platicar de esto because no se acuerda, and it's really hard. It's really hard when you go through this and you have to literally teach this individual, you know, how to say his name again, how to write. Babe, you didn't know how to write. No.
De por sí no se le inscribía.
No,
sí se escribía, pero mi letra está bien para todos lados.
Yeah. Yo recuerdo que ya cuando ya cuando después de todo el susto, maybe eran like 2 semanas que duraste así. Like, from the time that we went in to the time that you got discharged from UCI, it was a whole month. We were there for 1 whole month. And after that, we ended up going to a rehab center. And we want to talk more about that later in the next capitulo. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the time that he, you know, that he really did get sick, it was during that time. And it's life-changing. And it's life-changing when you see the person you love not there. Like, you see his body there, but you're like, he's not present right now. I remember that, like, they did an MRI to you and you were so, like, scared. Like, you just didn't want to go with them. Más que eso, like, fuck, lo picaron demasiado, you know. I know. And we can't use one arm in Rudy because of your kidney transplant. So they always use your right arm.
The same one. La misma vena, ¿no? Aquí.
Yeah, and las venas our venas are so hard to find. So, I mean, lo picaron demasiado. I feel like I did what I had to do at that moment. I let myself guide by God, and I just trusted in the doctors, and I knew that they were going to get you out of this one. Like, I had no doubt about that. It was really scary, and I never, honestly, like my mom said, like, this is when God is testing your faith and how much do you really believe in him, you know? And let me tell you that I woke up and I said, like, God, I believe in you. Like, I believe in you. I know you're here. I know you're present. And I know that at that time, I didn't understand why we were going through this, but I knew there was going to be a purpose. And it's a far greater purpose than what we had experienced that time. Rudy remembers after getting out of the hospital and going into rehab. And like I told him, like, I want to keep this part short and share like what I felt. And I want him to share his experience because going into rehab, it's a whole other...
Toda otra historia.
Toda otra historia. And de verdad que gracias to your boss, you know, because he kept taking care of you, you know, financially throughout this entire time. And And I'm just so thankful for his coworkers. I'm so thankful for everybody que se unió, you know, to give us food, to not give us food, but make us food, take us food, go visit us, go talk to us. Like it was needed. It was definitely needed. And I could just tell you that like that experience that I went through with you, like it just made me a better person.
So de todo lo malo siempre sale algo.
It made me a better person, and I feel like we're much stronger because of that. Like we don't have that financial stress that we did before him getting sick. Our communication is so like better. Yeah, like it's just you know, I think a lot had to do with the fact that Rudy didn't have a serious relationship for so long. So his communication was with his mom and his brother, you know. And when you end up getting married and you start building a family, like it changes, you know. And I think that's what we lacked on. And like I said, he's a giver, you know. He's a giver. So este hombre da todo lo que tiene.
So, con esto le cortamos ya para continuar la semana que viene, ¿verdad?
Yeah. Thank you so much para todos that tuned in to this capítulo and to all the capítulos. And thank you so much for letting us, you know, talk about real things that have happened to us. I knew I was going to cry.
Yeah.
I knew it.
I said I was not going to cry. Se me salieron las lágrimas. I couldn't hold it because es la primera vez que escucho todo esto.
Yeah. And you guys, it's been a long journey. And, we can now say we're 2 years out already? Yeah. It's been a beautiful, beautiful journey. And his journey doesn't stop. Like it's still going. Sometimes you still have to remind him of like a little bit of stuff, but we'll talk about it on the next capítulo. With that being said, we love you guys so much. Que Dios nos los bendiga siempre. Cuídense mucho, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye. Gracias.